Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us on the news briefing for this Wednesday. Recovery efforts are continuing at the Moss Landing battery fire incident site, and the county wants to continue to provide some community update on what is happening. And so for that, we're very pleased to have Rick Encarnacion from our County of Monterey Health Department Environmental Health to give us an update on what is happening. Hi, Rick. Thanks very much for joining us today.
Thank you, Maya. Good afternoon, everybody. Rick Encarnacion, Director of Environmental Health for the County of Monterey. I want to take a moment to provide the community with an update on what the Environmental Health Bureau, or also known as EHB, on what we're doing with the continued response to the January 16th battery energy storage system fire at the Vistra facility in Moss Landing. First and foremost, I want to reassure the public that the Environmental Health Bureau remains fully engaged in both monitoring and recovery efforts related to this incident. We're working closely with the responsible party, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency's on-scene coordinator, and our state partners to ensure that the public health and safety remains the top priorities. Our team continues to coordinate on-site environmental monitoring with the goal of understanding and mitigating any potential impacts to the surrounding community. Together with the responsible party and state agencies, we are refining our community sampling plan that will support the development of our hazard assessment, and this step is vital in helping us better understand any long-term implications in shaping our response actions moving forward. We're also collaborating with the US EPA, as I mentioned, and state partners to ensure that the community-wide environmental monitoring efforts are closely aligned with the on-site activities. This helps maintain consistency, avoids duplication, and allows us to be responsive to the changing site conditions. We're always updating our information page online for the official information, and I'm going to post it in the chat along with our phone number in case anybody has any other complaints or concerns. Finally, we also have our GIS team, a geographic information system that's actively developing a map-based visual of the environmental data. We're updating this based on valuable feedback from our technical experts in GIS. We meet weekly with our staff to make significant progress towards a working draft. Once it's done, we'll have it released, hopefully by the end of the month. And it'll help residents better understand the data in a geographic form. With that, the Environmental Health Bureau is committed to transparency, scientific integrity, and collaboration with our community. We are here for the long haul, and we continue to help keep you informed as more data becomes available and assessments progress. So with that, thank you, and I'm available for any questions.
Rick, thank you so much for that update. Even brief updates really help the community know that we're still there and we are still working. I'm wondering if you can talk just a little bit more about the GIS project, and so that people know when this comes online, what they will be able to see.
Yes, thank you, Maya. The GIS project is, hopefully everyone's familiar. Everybody's kind of familiar with the map applications that are available on your phone or on your computer. It'll give people a visual representation, basically like the layout of the land and the data that we found during our testing and monitoring. It's the same information that we have now. It's just layered, and people can look at the sites. And we're just trying to make it more user-friendly. There is a lot of data, layers, and information, so we want to make it. We want to be responsible enough to provide good information to the public. So it's a GIS visualization of the data that we already have and that we will be compiling.
Thank you, Rick. And we also want to remind people that the information page that you just put into the chat also contains reports that as we receive reports, we post them there. And I'm hoping you might be able to encourage people to, see what they might find if they go to that page.
Yes. Yes, please always seek out the official information. And that's the link that I have there posted. The information that we put there is information. It's data. And people should also know that the information that you're seeing, the same information that we're seeing, and then that is what we will base our actions and activities on. So that is the official information. We have other, we try to make it more user-friendly. It's just like with every other communication tool. It's under constant review and updating. We sure would like your feedback if there's anything that we need to make easier to read or easier to access. We're really trying to be as transparent as possible, providing information to the public. And then more so the services, the actions. Ourselves here in environmental health, we're your local health inspectors. We conduct routine inspections, and during emergencies, we are part of the resilience and recovery team, as well as response. So that is the information that we have. County's created this dedicated page just for this particular incident. There's contact information, data information, and soon hopefully we'll have a better visual in terms of geographic information.
And there are reports on that page that are not necessarily county reports, but they come from a wide variety of sources that people can read and review. It's a way to find everything in one place.
Yes, yes, and information is vital. Information is important, and more so, to be frank, it is a way that we hopefully continue to build the trust with the community to let them know that we're here. We're not going away in terms of providing this county service, your local representatives in terms of this incident. We're working with our state and federal partners, but your local health inspectors, we'll be here for you.
Thank you, Rick. And we also want to let the community know that these reports are going to be, and updates are coming occasionally. And the next public update on the incident will be April 22nd. The Board of Supervisors has asked for a monthly report from county staff, and that will be April 22nd at that board meeting. And that's also an opportunity if people want to, they can listen by Zoom, they can come into the board chambers and listen and, make comments as needed. Rick, thank you very much for being here and providing us this update today, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Maya.
Last fall, there were some surveillance cameras, and they were some of the first surveillance cameras that were set up in areas where people illegally dump trash, and a lot of it. There are now more cameras up, and we are very pleased to have Maria Ferdin from our Environmental Health Bureau here to talk about the surveillance effort, plus a little bit about Earth Day. Hi, Maria. And you're on mute. There you go.
Of course, I'm on mute. Afternoon, Maya. Thank you for inviting me again this year. I think the last time I was here, we had just installed 2 cameras in the public right-of-way, and I'm happy to report that we are now fully engaged in the surveillance pilot project, and I can share a little bit more about what we've done. Can I also share my screen?
Yes, please.
Okay. 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 Can you see my PowerPoint?
It is slow coming up. It says you're starting to share, so hopefully we'll see in a second.
Okay.
There we go. And you might want to put it on just read view.
How do I do that?
Under view, because right now we're seeing all of your site, but this is good too. No worries.
Okay. So let me go here. So right now, the county purchased 6 cameras total for the project, and we now have 6 cameras installed in the public right-of-way. They're in varied locations that we know, but they also include as a criteria for installing the cameras, we've installed them in places that we know are chronically visited by illegal dumpers. And so we've installed 2 cameras at 3 locations. One camera is actually a license plate capable camera so that it can visually capture the letters and numbers of a license plate. And then when someone views the image, we can follow up on who that individual is or who owns that vehicle. And so 6 cameras are installed at 3 locations in the public right-of-way of Monterey County. And the reason for the program, as everybody knows, illegal dumping is an issue that Monterey County has been dealing with for quite a long time, and it has um, it's a financial burden on county residents and taxpayers. So our purpose is to significantly reduce illegal dumping in Monterey County. We also want to protect public spaces and private properties from dumped household garbage, furniture, unknown liquids, and hazardous waste. We also want to provide relevant and current information to the public on where a garbage and unfamiliar items can be disposed, like sharps containers. The cameras themselves, they come from a company called Reconics. They're very discreet, mobile, produce high quality images. We have 6 of them, including 3 license plate reader capable cameras. They're solar powered, they're cellular enabled, meaning that the images that are taken are saved into the cloud. We don't have to exchange SD cards. We can just go onto an online portal and we're able to view all the images that are captured during the 24-hour surveillance that it does. And the cameras are also equipped with AI technology that we partnered with a vendor to provide that. And the vendor is Epic.io. To give you an example of the quality of the images, um, you're you're easily able to identify the vehicles. If there aren't any markings on the vehicles, on the side of the vehicles, you can identify individuals. And if this vehicle was turned around so that the front was facing the camera, we could also read the license plate on that. And the cameras are also equipped with infrared technology at about 150 feet. And environmental health is also we are also issuing administrative citations per county code. These the administrative citations have gone up. There were originally, I believe, 100, 500, and $1,000. Last year we increased those fines to 2,500 all the way up to $10,000 per offense. And any case that we think is appropriate for additional enforcement, we refer that to the DA's office. So in summary, Monterey County's illegal dumping pilot project is fully operational, and we have 6 cameras installed at 3 locations, and each site is equipped with the license plate capable reader. And environmental health is prepared to issue citations for illegal dumping, and these citations are significant. First offense is $2,500, and it goes up to $10,000. And I'm open to questions.
Maria, thank you so much for walking us through this.
You stop my.
I just, yeah, go ahead. You can stop your sharing. So the question always comes up from people is, why do people do this illegal dumping? Back in the day when the fines were so minor, people might take the risk because it might be cheaper to, do that versus I don't want to pay at a landfill. However,
Yeah.
a lot has changed with the landfill costs and now the fines. It's actually more practical to go to the landfill and try to work it out.
Yeah, there are so many things that the landfill takes now that were special, like batteries, light bulbs, mattresses, tires. The landfills have made special arrangements and to take those types of disposed materials. I think maybe we really don't know why people illegally dump. Many of the stuff that we see on the side of the road is actually can be taken by the landfill for free, like mattresses, for example. Um, one thought is that it's convenient to stop on the side of the road and dispose of a mattress. It's quick, and you hope that nobody sees you, but it may be more convenient to do that. So the message we're trying to get out to the public is that um, illegal dumping is not free. We all pay for it. Um, it can also be a cost to the environment, especially if you're disposing of unknown liquids on the side of the road. It's a cost to private property owners. And visually, it's a blight. And the blight attracts more blight. So it's an ongoing cycle. And the message to the public is that disposing of materials actually become more convenient for a broad group of people. So if you have questions about, well, should I dispose of this in the garbage or somewhere else, they can call us and we can tell them. And a lot of this stuff, again, is for free, like mattresses and sometimes tires they may have stacked up in their garage. So if they have questions about those things, they can call us.
And I was just thinking of the tire thing as an example where that was something we would have definitely seen in the past at illegal dumping sites. But currently, Salinas Valley Recycle is doing a free tire recycling program, which they're pushing out on social media. So I think if what you're saying is if people just look around, they can find an option to maybe a problem that really isn't a problem after all.
Yeah, it takes a little effort, I understand, but it's very possible to find outlets for the waste that they may be accumulating in their garage. Um, the tire amnesty program that you just mentioned, if you have 20 tires in your garage and you don't know what to do with them, you can actually dispose of them at these amnesty events. Transport nine at a time, and you can get rid of your tires that way, and it's free.
And Maria, I'm also hoping you might talk a little bit about Earth Day in terms of county support, because I know each year that environmental health offers disposal vouchers. If people want to do a cleanup in an area in their neighborhood, they can come to you for help.
Absolutely. Um, so we have this long-standing program. It's a voucher program where we let, if you want to clean up a beach, clean up your street, if you want to get together with your friends and beautify a neighborhood, you can come to us. We issue you a voucher. You can take all the waste that you've collected and take it to the landfill, and that would be for free. You just have to transport it there. And as far as Earth Day is concerned, I'm going to share my screen. Earth Day is April 26th for us. Um, can you see this?
Got it.
Okay. So April 26th is our Earth Day, and Environmental Health is going out to Carr Lake in Salinas and doing a cleanup for that day. We are meeting at 8 a.m. and it will go on until noon, and we're going to be meeting on I think it's 855 East Laurel, and it's just a little south of the Veterans Park in Salinas. And you'll see us with a pop-up tent. We'll have water for you. We'll have snacks, and we provide all the equipment, the gloves, the garbage bags. We'll have 5-gallon buckets and grabbers for you. You just show up and to do a little walk around the park, walk around Carr Lake, and pick up garbage. It's going to be a fun day, and we've been doing this for many, many years, and we invite the public to join us.
And there are a lot of people who come every year to this too. They just make it part of their Earth Day activities.
That's right. We have we've hosted school kids. We've hosted high schoolers. Um, the CSUMB have done plantings around Carr Lake. And so the volunteer corps can be fairly large and it's always fun. You see, I'm sharing photographs from 2024's Earth Day, and so the city of Salinas they've been very helpful in coming out to pick up the garbage that we collected. And so it's a community effort and it's community fun, and we're cleaning up Carr Lake. We welcome the public to join us.
Maria, thank you so much for talking about this fantastic program and for updating us on the surveillance program. That is just really great news. I know it's been long in coming and getting it fully operational, and we hope it really makes a difference. And we just want to tell those folks we're watching you, right? We can see you. Thanks again. Thanks very much for being here.
Thank you.
Now on to our next topic. Climate change and how potential changes could impact development applications in Moss Landing will be the focus of a workshop set for next week. We have staff from Housing and Community Development, our Housing and Community Development Department, here to talk about this workshop and why it is important. We're very pleased to have Phil Angelo, who's a senior planner, and Mike Novo, who's a management specialist and all-around guy who will never leave the county, apparently as an employee, to talk about this issue. Both gentlemen, thanks very much for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having us. So I'm Phil Angelo. I'm the planner with the county, working together with Mike Novo on the Moss Landing Community Plan update. We're happy to keep him around. And so we wanted to provide an update on the status of the community plan update, and then give some information on this upcoming workshop that we're conducting. So kind of background overview, this is the Moss Landing Community Plan area. The community plan was adopted in the early 1980s, and it's part of the North County Land Use Plan. Together, both provide the land use and development framework for the community, with the North County Land Use Plan being kind of the 100,000-foot elevation, and then the Moss Landing Community Plan having a closer, more detailed view.
So we're not seeing the slides.
Oh, goodness.
I figured you were just giving a great introduction.
Well, thank you. Maybe my hand articulations covered some of it.
It's magical. Here it is.
Okay. Thank you. The county's been working to update this community plan for many years. It's been a multi-year process to get input into the plan, and we're in the final steps to get it over the finish line. And those include finalizing the coastal implementation plan regulations that we're going to be talking about at the upcoming workshop, taking the plan update project through the environmental review process in CEQA, and then finally public hearings to consider adoption of the plan at the County Planning Commission, the Board of Supervisors, and the California Coastal Commission. So the draft community plan includes policies that address climate hazards. This includes sea level rise inundation, but also other coastal hazards that will be exacerbated by climate change, like coastal erosion, storm surge flooding, those kinds of things. The policies in the plan fit into two general buckets. The first is criteria for how development projects would be reviewed to address coastal hazards. And that's where the regulations come in. And the second is policies that require longer-term climate change hazard adaptation planning for the shoreline and the harbor. Coincidentally, a Senate bill was recently passed, which requires local governments to address sea level rise in their coastal plans. And they grant the county received a grant from the California Coastal Commission for this planning work, which would finance both the work that we're presently doing on these regulations, as well as the longer term adaptation planning I mentioned. The draft regulations would include things like what technical reports are required when you're proposing development in a coastal hazard area, what criteria applies to shoreline protective devices like seawalls, and requirements for siting new development and structures in the safest areas while protecting coastal resources like habitats and public access. And I'm going to pass it over to Mike Novo to talk a little bit more in detail about the regulations.
Thank you, Phil. I'm Mike Novo with Monterey County Housing and Community Development. I think Maya and I have been here for a long time together, so good to see you, Maya. And I appreciate this opportunity to try and get the word out to more of the public about our upcoming meetings. County staff has prepared draft regulations, as Phil was just talking about, to implement the policies that we developed with the community over the many years. Part of these regulations include a new section that will provide direction on how we both design and consider development projects in light of potential climate change hazards. As you can imagine, Moss Landing is one of our more threatened areas, being right on the coast and at low levels or low elevations. So sea level rise and other storm hazards are a real concern for the community. So the draft regulations we did develop was distributed to interested parties and establishes a process to analyze potential development projects by requiring a hazards analysis for many types of projects. The regulations also identify areas of the community or project types that will not need a technical report prepared, and we'll go over that at the presentation. Staff has also drafted development standards that ensure consistency with California Coastal Act requirements for allowing development while also protecting sensitive resources. It's a little bit of a delicate balance to walk that tightrope. Next slide, Phil. So we're holding a community meeting on the draft climate change hazards section on April 15th at 6 p.m. It's going to take place at the Moss Landing Marine Laboratory, where we've had meetings there for years, so the community is very well aware of the location. We're also going to have a Zoom option for those that can't or want to participate over Zoom, so we will have that potential too. We are also planning a status update presentation to our Planning Commission. We are probably going to do that in June of 2025. Next slide, Bill. So to back up a little bit, the Moss Landing Community Plan that, as Phil said, we worked many years with the community on, was released to the draft public just a few months ago, late 2024, I believe. And the draft regulations we have coming up, the draft climate change regulations were released about a month ago to interested parties. The rest of our regulations that we're developing, our coastal implementation plan that implements all the policies and kind of provides more detail about how they will be applied to development projects. That work is going to be released in the next few weeks by county staff. And we're also working with a consultant to prepare an environmental impact report on the whole Moss Landing Community Plan update and the regulations. And that's expected to be released in the fall of this year. So there will be plenty of opportunity for the public to participate to get this plan over the finish line, as Phil said. So next slide. So we really encourage interested members of the public to stay involved all the way through the process. Things can change right up to the last minute at the Coastal Commission hearings when they consider certification of our document. So it's important that anybody interested in this Moss Landing Community Plan update stays involved all the way through. This slide shows the many ways that county staff can be contacted, and also shows a link on the upper right to the county webpage that we have for the Moss Landing Community Plan effort. So we'd be happy to answer any questions if there are any. Thank you.
Gentlemen, thank you both very much for really taking a big, huge project and really compressing it down to a very, streamlined presentation. I'm hoping we might be able to address what could be some, and I'm going to stop sharing your screen here for a second. A lot of people, when we heard about this community plan and the hazard update, they assume that it might relate to the recent battery fire incident in Moss Landing. And I was hoping you guys just might address why this particular plan is not related to that, but certainly as we move forward in the future, any development that might be in this coastal area would be subject to what is finalized here.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, we started this community plan effort in 2009 before we even envisioned that there would be battery storage as something that the state of California needs. So it's really not the focus of this update, obviously. It's really to update a 40-year-old plan to make sure we have kind of current thinking on how we're going to develop Moss Landing in the future. However, we know that the battery storage issue is an issue for the community and for all of North County, really. It's actually a statewide issue. I'm on a statewide panel working on it as well. So there is discussions occurring right now on how we're going to incorporate some thoughts about how to make sure that we have safe battery storage in the Moss Landing community plan discussion. So we are thinking about how to incorporate that aspect into it. But the plan is a long-term plan. It's going to be in existence for the next 20 to 40 years. And so we don't try and take snapshots in time. We try and look at the long picture on these policies and regulations. And so we will address safety through the policies and regulations that we do develop, though.
And thank you for really help clarifying that. And there could be a lot more development issues that arise in this area other than that. This is an area that may want to grow, and how to do that is where this plan is going to come into play, correct?
Yes. Go ahead, Phil.
Oh, I was just going to say yes. And as Mike noted, we're kind of actively considering how the battery energy storage issue can be kind of addressed in a meaningful way in the plan. And part of that right now is that there's a lot of different pieces moving all at once. So we're trying to collect as much information we can on what's happening at the statewide level and then also on the recovery efforts.
And
Go ahead.
sorry, just a little bit more. The community has really changed quite a bit. When it was first adopted, our plan was first adopted in the 80s. The community was very much a commercial fishing village, and some obviously tourism as people pass through on Highway 1. But it's really turned into a aquarium research, Moss Landing Marine Labs research facility focus, along with the commercial fishing. So our new policies are really shaped to recognize that new balance, but also to really try and find ways that we protect the commercial fishing operations out there. It's one of the last areas that we have along the Central Coast that really has that ability to have commercial fishing boats and onshore the product into processing facilities.
Thank you both very much for sharing about the workshop. And we really want to encourage people to come and listen to the presentation there and comment on whatever aspect of this is important to them. I really appreciate you both being here very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And we're going to talk about one more meeting right now. There is an upcoming public hearing that is going to focus on service priorities for low-income residents in Monterey County. You may have heard of the Monterey County Community Action Plan, but you may not know why it is important. We're very pleased to have Adriana Naraz-Tapia here to talk about why that is important and a little bit about the plan and how we can all get involved. Hi, Adriana.
Hi, Maya. Thank you. Thank you for the invite.
And we do want to let people know that you will be sharing information in both English and Spanish.
That is correct, yes. So I'll be doing a little bit of the background in Spanish as well. So the Monterey County Community Action Partnership, as you may know, is a community action partnership that falls under the Department of Social Services. It's housed on the Department of Social Services and the Director's Office. This plan, I was here, I think last year promoting my community needs assessment. So what that means is during the whole period of from October of 2024 to February, we collected data throughout Monterey County, throughout the different regions of Monterey County, collecting a survey asking for residents, Monterey County residents, targeting in the low income sector, what was the priorities, what are the needs of the community. The needs do change within from year to year. We do this biannual, but they do change. So this time around, some of the needs and the priorities have changed. What that means is basically when we get the funding, that we do this for a cap plan for funding, requesting for funding from federal state funding. Once we get the funding, we distribute that funding through an RFP process to our nonprofit agencies to service those priorities. Unfortunately, Community Action Partnership here in Monterey County does not provide direct services. However, we do contract with nonprofits to provide those services based on the needs from this needs assessment. So we're going to have this public hearing. During the public hearing, we'll be able to discuss what are the findings that we found out, our top of needs. Probably you guys may not be shocked, but housing did came as number one, right, for the last time. So we asked what type of assistance would be good to alleviate. We found that a lot of the individuals, unfortunately, that are low income are struggling with even having good health, because of the fact that they have to pay high cost of rent and the living is just outrageous. Inflation here just rose, and this is from data we collected from the census, data we collected from our sources. So we do have the CAP plan available on our website. More than welcome to read and take a look at it. You'll be able to find our domains, which we focus in housing, we focus in health and social behavioral development, education and cognitive development, employment services, income and asset building, and transportation, and our civic engagement and community development. So in there, you'll find some of the needs that were reported from our residents. So basically, this is an opportunity to invite the public to review those needs and give the comment to see and input what are the needs they feel that are missing or that they need or they're not in the plan. So that way, when it's submitted, we advocate correctly for what the residents in Monterey County need. And this public hearing will be this Monday, April 14th it will be from 3 to 4:30 at the MCOE, which is the Office of Education here on 901 Blanco. So, and there's also, if there's any questions, you could always reach out to in our website. We'll have more information, or you could reach out to myself and I'll be able to assist with any questions pertaining to the public hearing. But we do definitely, we could hear from the public as much as I would collect or we want to request for funding, right? It's not what Adriana thinks is the need. It's basically what Monterey County needs. So that's why the feedback and the input is really important from our community.
Thank you so much. And we'll go ahead and share we're going to go ahead and share the website also in the chat and then online. I'm wondering if you can share this information now in Spanish.
Yes, I'll go ahead and share it in Spanish. So, la Asociación de Acción Comunitaria del Condado de Monterey presentará el plan de acción de la comunidad del condado, del plan del 2026 al 2027, en una audiencia que se presentará este 14 de abril y va a ser de 3 de la tarde a 4:30 en la oficina de educación en la 901 East Blanco. Y lo que se llevará a cabo es, estamos adquiriendo información del público para ver qué son las necesidades que el condado de Monterrey necesita. Necesitamos saber qué son las necesidades o las prioridades de las personas de bajos recursos, qué es lo que los está impidiendo para poder seguir adelante. Una de las prioridades que nos identificamos en una encuesta que hicimos de octubre del 2024 a febrero de este año del 2025 fue que una de la prioridad número uno que salió, ¿verdad?, es la asistencia en vivienda y cómo personas de bajos recursos desafortunadamente dejan o por pagar sus rentas, por pagar sus deudas que tienen que pagar, dejan de proveer salud médica, dejan de tener mejor nutrición para sus hijos y para su familia. Entonces, le estoy pidiendo a toda la comunidad que si se podía presentar, dar su comentario, y no es pena, ¿verdad?, decir qué es lo que realmente se necesita. Y tal vez usted no lo necesite, pero tal vez sabe que su vecino lo necesite, sabe, alguien en la comunidad lo necesita, y es una forma para poder buscar y pedir a asistencia pública, ¿verdad?, qué tipo de servicios para proveer para esa comunidad. Entonces, es muy importante que sus sugerencias, es el momento de que haga su voz oír en esta audiencia. Se puede presentar, si tiene preguntas, me puede llamar personalmente. Y si tiene alguna otra pregunta, el plan está disponible en el internet. Si le gusta leerlo, también está una ejecución sumerativa que hice sobre de todos lo que encontré en la encuesta y cuáles eran las prioridades. O si está interesado, ahí también lo puede encontrar. Pero muchas gracias. Thank you so much, Maya. I think that was for me in Spanish, my petition and my ask for the community to show up and provide some of their feedback.
Thank you so much. And just to remind everyone that the meeting date is April 14th from 3 to 4:30 at MCOE's offices. And I believe those are on Blanco Circle down on the south side of town. And we just really hope for a great turnout and to have people we really want to encourage people to come and share what they know. I mean, I think this is and wouldn't you say this is an opportunity for people who are maybe feeling the economic impacts right now? If they want to drive the services that they need, come out and tell what you're experiencing. And that way we can make a shift in the services and try to hone in on what people really need right now.
Thank you. Yes, Maya, one thing that I do want to advocate as well is, the services for domestic violence victims, for individuals that are going through that process, and now the legal services aspect, it's diminishing. There's not a lot of services out there because here in social services, they're always reaching out to us for services. So I always encourage for the community to go and speak and see what are the needs, because if not, those needs are going to be vanishing. They're going to be gone, and we really need them. So any need that you feel that it's out there, it may not be your need, but it might be your neighbor's need. So, and they might not want to feel comfortable speaking up in the public. It is really intimidating, and I understand. So it's really hard to ask anybody from the low income right to stand up and just include how they feel or put themselves out there. So it's really hard. So I always say, advocate for somebody that is in need of this need. So that way we could publish everything that is in there in that need, it gets recorded. So we do put it and submit it into the state. So thank you so much. But yes, I do encourage and everyone to participate, not necessarily if you're low income or not.
Adriana, thank you so much for sharing with us about this meeting, and we hope it goes very well.
Thank you so much, Mayor.
And thanks everyone for joining us on the news briefing this week. Our next briefing is next week, and we'll see you then.